Welcome back. Now for your 5-day weather forecast, we go outside to Philip Maciel.
It's official, you can finally get used to the warm weather, but you might want to keep your umbrella handy for the rest of the week. Today we're looking at a beautiful sunny 17 degrees, dipping to a low of 8 overnight. Tomorrow there's a small chance of rain, maybe a thunderstorm or two, with a high of 19 and a low of 8 degrees. For Friday, the rain continues, so keep the umbrella close, a high of 18 for the day and a low of 11 degrees into the nighttime. Your glorious St. Patrick's Day is looking promising. The rain will end for that day only, giving us a high of 19 degrees and a low of 10 degrees at night. And finally, back to some isolated showers, finishing off your weekend with a high of 18 and dipping to a low of 10 degrees for Sunday. We'll keep you updated throughout the week for your St. Patrick's Day forecast, but till then, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Philip. The Liberals continue to urge the Conservatives to give Elections Canada investigators all information regarding their robocalls during the last federal campaign. Opposition leaders are calling for an independent judicial inquiry or royal commission into the matter, a move Prime Minister Stephen Harper has disregarded. Harper says Elections Canada can access all records necessary for its investigation. Liberal interim leader Bob Rae has released transcripts of the automated calls used by his party. One sample included former Liberal leader Michael Ignatieff inviting voters to campaign rallies and encouraging them to vote. The release of these documents is an attempt to force Conservatives to do the same.
Air Canada flights are continuing to take off as scheduled. The House of Commons passed Bill C-33 late last night. The back-to-work legislation is forcing Air Canada and the unions representing the machinists and pilots to binding arbitration. This will see one of the final offers from one of the parties' offers chosen, putting an end to the labour conflicts. The Machinists Union says the decision takes away their labour rights. Federal Labour Minister Lisa Raitt introduced the bill. She says the country cannot afford a work stoppage at Air Canada.
28 people killed in a bus crash in Switzerland. 22 of them were children. The bus was returning to Belgium from a skiing trip when it struck a tunnel wall head-on. It was one of 3 coach buses transporting the children from 2 different Belgian schools. The other 2 buses returned home safely. The Belgian government arranged for military aircraft to take distraught parents and relatives to the site of the crash. The cause of the crash has not been determined. Belgium's Prime Minister called it a black day for the country, which will hold a national day of mourning to honor the victims.
A 6.9 magnitude earthquake has struck off the northeastern coast of Japan. Authorities issued an evacuation for coastal residents after the quake. A small tsunami later hit the shore. The initial quake was followed by several powerful aftershocks, including a 5.7 magnitude tremor east of Tokyo. No injuries have been reported. The quake comes almost a year to the day after an earthquake triggered a giant wave that killed over 19,000 people in Japan.
The United States primaries roll on with wins for Rick Santorum in Mississippi and Alabama. The race in both states was tight, with advanced polls showing a 3-way struggle. Newt Gingrich followed in second and Mitt Romney in third in both states. But Romney still leads by a significant margin nationwide.
And now with your sports news, here's Justin Irwin.
The Humber Hawks men's volleyball team returned from the national tournament in British Columbia golden. The Hawks proved why they held the #1 seed after defeating Dawson College 3-1. CCAA Player of the Year Terrell Bramwell led the Hawks with 43 kills during the championship game. It's the first time a team from Ontario has won gold since 1983. On the ice, the Toronto Maple Leafs continue their unbelievably horrendous slide with a 5-2 loss to the Southeast Division leading Florida Panthers. Leafs center Tyler Bozak scored his 15th of the season on a tip-in to cut Florida's 2-0 lead in half. However, it ended up not being enough as Florida took control in the third period with 2 power play goals. The Leafs are now 1-4-1 in the month of March after going 4-9-1 in February. The Panthers and the Leafs are the only NHL teams that haven't made the playoffs in the post-lockout era. The Leafs stay in the Sunshine State for Thursday's game versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. And on the hardwood, the Toronto Raptors continue their slide away from the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft by beating the Cleveland Cavaliers for the 3rd time this season. Raps point guard Jared Bayless made use of his 37 minutes of playing time with Jose Calderon out with an injury, scoring 20 points and dishing out 7 dimes. Former Raptor draft pick Anton Jameson netted 20 points for the Cavs. The Raps now are tied for 5th worst in the NBA with a 14-28 record. They play New Jersey tonight in the Garden State. In tennis action, Thornhill's favorite son, Milos Raonic, faced the greatest tennis player to come out of Switzerland since Martina Hingis. Roger Federer beat the Canadian 2-1 in the third round of the BNP Paribas Open in California. 21-year-old Raonic says he takes a lot of positives from the loss to arguably the greatest tennis player of all time. Raonic is currently ranked 27th among the men, whereas the 30-year-old Federer is ranked 3rd behind Djokovic and Nadal. And on the soccer pitch, Toronto FC plays the second leg in the CONCACAF quarterfinals in LA tonight. The Reds tied last Wednesday's game 2-2 against the MLS Cup defending Galaxy. Midfielder David Beckham kicked a corner late in the second half that bounced to Landon Donovan, who booted it home to tie the game. Organizers in LA are expecting a mere 7,500 fans to attend the match because all the seats at the Home Depot Center aren't available midweek during the school year. No word yet if traveling Toronto fans will be served tallboy cans of beer. The game kicks off at 10 Eastern tonight. And that's it for sports. Back to you guys in the newsroom.
Thanks, Justin. After the break, we'll get the latest in entertainment from Amy Weinstein.
Fashion Week continues in Toronto. Madonna takes heat from Malawi, and the annual Illuminato Festival announces their lineup. I'll have your full entertainment update after the break.